First, a quick welcome and a big thanks to all the new subscribers that I've gotten lately. A good bit more than usual, and for that, I am glad. I try not to go on about my links too often, but for the new friends, in the description is my link tree. I have an expat blog with some good information. I sell an ebook about planning your move over here, and there are links to my Facebook group and Instagram page. I have well over 700 videos on this channel, and on my channel page, I keep them organized in playlists, so you should check those out if you want. Also, a big thanks to all my subscribers, not just the new ones. Your support means a lot to me. Now, banking. How do you manage your finances without a bank account? To be clear, right up front, this is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by Cebuana. I wish it was, but it is not. This is just a crazy thing that my wife has, and I thought it might be interesting and could be handy for you. Did you know Cebuana has a savings account? I sure didn't. Filipinos are known for not having bank accounts. There are a number of studies done, and I won't bore you with the details, but the percentages vary. Between 55% and 75% of adults in the Philippines do not have bank accounts. According to some studies, as many as 70% of the people do not have the required documentation to open a bank account. Most of the banks here seem to be franchises in that every branch makes up their own rules, and of course, if you don't keep enough money in the bank, the fees will eat that savings up. Banks have never been aimed at poor people, even in the U.S. Also, out in the provinces, it is difficult to find a branch of any major bank. Now, because of that, most people here do not have bank accounts. Some out in the province will use their local co-op, but those aren't very good for sending money around the country. They're good for local, but not transferring money around. So how do you move your money around? Other than cash transactions, and cash is king, to move money, most people use one of the numerous money transfer services. Foreigners sending money into the country tend to favor bigger companies, Western Union, Zoom, MoneyWise, etc. Domestically, Palawan and Cebuana seem to be the major players. If you send money, that's where they're going to go pick up the Western Union money. Is this at their local branch of whatever. The money store that they use will usually just depend on whatever is more conveniently located. Palawan does have more branches and can send money to and from most local banks, but Cebuana is actually a rural bank and has savings accounts. My wife has a Cebuana 24K card. At first, it was like her ID at Cebuana and earning points for whatever they give points for. One day, she said she was depositing money in Cebuana. Seemed like an odd choice of words to me, so I said, "You mean sending money?" She says, "No, depositing into my Cebuana." What? This did not clear things up, as apparently she thought it would. Then she tells me that although her province co-op has a branch in Iloilo, it was not convenient. She got tired of using the co-op and now uses the Cebuana savings account. Oh, okay, so now I know she's talking about Cebuana having a savings account. Wait, Cebuana has a savings account? Please explain. And she did. Turns out Cebuana has a very easy-to-use savings account. Now, to be clear, this is a separate account from how you would send money to someone. If you send money to someone using Cebuana, that's a different account than the savings. They have to go pick up the money in person, and once they pick up the money, they can deposit it into their savings if they want. But you cannot send money directly to someone else's savings account. That would really make it better. To open the account, all you need is 2 forms of ID, and the list of accepted IDs is incredibly long. Along with the ID, you need 50 pesos. Yeah, minimum opening deposit is 50 pesos, $1. And there's no minimum maintaining balance. There are no fees to eat up your savings, no deposit withdrawal fees. Many banks here have the deposit and withdrawal fees. Crazy, right? They also allow kids to open a savings account. You only have to be 7 years old to open the Cebuana savings account. The savings pays interest at a ridiculously low percentage rate. But as bad a rate as they offer, it's still better than what BPI or BDO offer. Interest here is horrid. Easy ID for opening, low opening deposit, kids can use it, and even some interest paid. So far, it sounded pretty good. I want to know what's the catch. Well, I never found a catch. The only problem I would have with it is there's a maximum balance of 50,000 pesos. It's about $1,000. So it would not really suit most foreigners as a savings account. Seriously, 50,000 pesos, I'm just going to keep it in the safe at the house. It took almost 30 minutes of reading the fine print on multiple web pages to find out if the account is covered by the PDIC, Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation. It is covered by PDIC. All the banks put that right up front, right on top, and Cebuana really should do that. I assumed it was not covered because the information was so hard to find. Maybe they think their target demographic won't ask, or know to ask. But I also learned they're a full-on bank. The PDIC information was on the Cebuana Rural Bank site, not the Cebuana Pawnshop site. They do home loans, car loans, payday loans, time deposits from 1 month to 5 years. They also own jewelry stores, IT companies, tech companies, resorts in Coron and Boracay. Who knew? But the Cebuana Pawnshop handles the 24K savings for the rural bank. Any real banking has to be done at one of their branches, and they only have 5 or 6 branches all near Manila. But I digress. My wife loves the convenience of their savings account, and they keep adding services. Now she can make a deposit or withdrawal at any Cebuana branch nationwide, but the 24K card also is on BankNet and works at almost all ATMs for withdrawals. If you've ever been to the Philippines, you know these money stores are everywhere. Here is a random shot. Downtown Iloilo. You can see Palawan, Western Union, and Cebuana all right next to each other. I mean, they are everywhere. As for branch availability, BPI has close to 900 branches nationwide. BDO has about 1,500. Cebuana Pawn has over 2,500 branches. You're far more likely to be near a Cebuana than a branch of a bank. And you can pull money out at pretty much any ATM. Not only ATMs, but any retail store that accepts UnionPay or BankNet will accept the 24K card as a debit card. There's over 350,000 stores that use UnionPay and BankNet. Please don't tell my wife. Now, the boring fine print, the interest is 0.2%. That sounds terrible, but BPI only pays 0.1%, BDO pays 0.06% interest. Minimum balance to earn interest is 500, but there is no maintaining balance and no account fees. The maximum balance is 50,000 pesos, about $1,000. Minimum deposit's 50 pesos. Minimum withdrawal is 100 pesos. You're allowed 3 withdrawals per day. The withdrawal fee is free until further notice. That kind of sounds like a plan for later shenanigans. We shall see. Now, I think this is a really good news for the Filipinos. Savings is a very important part of financial planning. Getting an easy-to-open, no-fee account is a very good start. It's not useful as a full-on savings account, but it's a good start, and it's more accessible and more convenient in many ways. This should hopefully make it more likely for more people to open the account and use it. It's not something I would use, but I found it very interesting when I heard of it, and I just thought y'all might find it interesting as well. My wife was using the BPI savings and just got tired of all the rules, fees, and general BS, so she switched to the provincial co-op, but it was only one branch and inconvenient. So she uses the 24K at Cebuana and absolutely loves it. It's an actual bank account, but so much more convenient and easy to use. Because you know these pawn shops are absolutely everywhere. So I really think this is a great way to get people into a bank account, start learning how to save money, and maybe start getting some financial independence. Hey, we can hope. Any real banking done at their actual bank branch.
Enjoy your day in paradise.